Welcome, everybody, to my freedom session. I'm glad you're here, and I want to start off by welcoming Mark. It's great to see you again, as always. And Kevin, good to see you back. I'm glad you're doing well. And Celine. And if it's pronounced wrong, please forgive me. Freedom from anxiety. Whew. You know, when you start looking into these things, they get pretty intense. And, even anxiety around COVID and all the rest of it. I mean, a year ago, and I would have said that I wouldn't have gotten a vaccine because I'm not into vaccines. But now I've gotten a vaccine. So, good morning from Arizona. And I don't know why, but I did. And all is good. Morning, Debbie. So, let's take a moment and center ourselves so that I feel better. Closing your eyes. And bringing your attention to your breath. And just becoming aware of your body posture. Can I breathe in easily? Can I let go easily? And we give ourselves permission to let go of all that came before this moment, so that we might be open channels to let go of that which no longer serves us, and to make way for that which is coming or is here that we have not seen and appreciated before. We give thanks for this time together. Amen. So I thought I would do my little PowerPoint thing, freedom from anxiety, and I'm going to start with a little video and move it to 124 so you don't have to listen to the whole thing. Start again. Hold on. 124.
Little background. Anxiety is defined as a state of fear resulting from the anticipation of a real or imagined threatening
That wasn't supposed to happen.
event or situation. In other words, anxiety occurs when we think something bad or unpleasant might happen. Because anxiety is fear-based, anxiety activates the body's survival mechanism, also known as the stress response or the fight, flight, or freeze response. The stress response secretes stress hormones into the bloodstream where they travel to targeted spots to bring about specific physiological, psychological, and emotional changes that prepare the body for immediate emergency action, such as quickening heart rate, stimulating the body, tightening muscles, and shunting the blood to parts of the body vital for emergency action and away from those that aren't, just to name a few. These emergency changes create symptoms. Examples include feeling like your heart is racing because stress hormones stimulate the heart, having a trembling sensation because stress hormones stimulate the nervous system and tighten muscles, and having a dizzy feeling because the stress response shunts blood to the brain so that we can more quickly detect and react to danger, and so on. You can visit our stress response article for more information about the many body-wide changes caused by the stress response. The link is in the comments below. Because the stress response causes a powerful effect, stress responses stress the body, and a body that becomes stressed can exhibit symptoms of stress. So to answer the question, what are anxiety symptoms? Anxiety symptoms are symptoms of stress. We call them anxiety symptoms because anxiety is the main source of the stress that stresses the body, and that stress creates symptoms. But that's not all. There are two main types of anxiety symptoms, acute and chronic. When the body experiences an active stress response, we experience acute anxiety symptoms. They are called acute anxiety symptoms because they start and last as long as the stress response is active. Acute anxiety symptoms subside once the active stress response has ended and the body has had sufficient time to recover from the active stress response. Recovery can take anywhere between a few moments for minor stress responses and up to 30 minutes or more for dramatic stress responses. When the body has recovered, acute anxiety symptoms subside. For instance, if you stepped out in front of a moving vehicle and realized you could be hit, your fear reaction will activate an immediate stress response. This stress response will give you an emergency boost of energy to help you more quickly jump back and out of danger. As a result of these emergency changes, your heart might race, your breathing might quicken, and your body will feel energized. Once you jump back and out of danger, your body will use up the remaining stress hormones, and in a little while, your heart rate, breathing, and stimulation will return to normal as your body recovers from the scare of being hit by the moving vehicle. Again, acute anxiety symptoms are associated with an active stress response. They end after the stress response ends and the body has sufficient time to recover. Chronic anxiety symptoms, however, can persist long after a stress response is ended. They can also occur without having a stress response, can occur out of the blue and for no apparent reason, and can occur and persist even though you don't feel anxious or stressed. Chronic anxiety symptoms are caused when we experience too frequent stress responses and the body doesn't have sufficient time to recover. When the body doesn't recover, it can remain in a state of semi-stress response readiness, which we call stress response hyperstimulation.
Hyperstimulation. That's a good one, huh? So there are so many ways to look at anxiety. There really are when you start to look into it and to delve into it. Excuse me. So I thought instead, let's look at what's the opposite of anxiety. And so the opposite, now, if I can get there, it is the opposite of anxiety. This is an interesting article I read that I quote the author here somewhere. Self-confidence. It's not something I would have thought is the opposite of anxiety, but really the courage to confront the what ifs. What if I'm put down? What if I'm rejected? What if I'm laughed at or ignored? What if I'm perceived as silly or worthless? And most of this lack of self-confidence is based on a lack of trust in our abilities. And where did we establish the trust in our abilities? And if you were like me, most parents believe the way to teach you is by pointing out what's wrong. We've entrusted our self-image to our parents, to our school, to our church, to whatever, and possibly even exaggerated expectations of parents. And this can only create a lack of confidence in our abilities if we are continuously told what is wrong, or we don't get the reinforcement that we need prior to our ability to support ourselves. When we're young, we don't have the ability to know what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. We're being taught that, right? So the fallout from the lacking external validation as a kid is that it sets up a lifetime of vacillating or giving up entirely, even where, if we do it, we would succeed. We operate on past conditioning. right? And so not doing something compromises my overall sense of achievement. It would have enhanced my self-esteem. But because I was so in doubt, and I've established a sense of doubt in my abilities, then I become less and less likely to challenge my abilities, to put them into effect. Here's some questions he suggests. Ask yourself if making a mistake or being more assertive leads to the fear of being rejected by other people. Have I developed a seriously self-sabotaging habit of perfectionism? I've met a lot of people with that, which says, I have to do everything right. I have to do everything. How often do I avoid taking risks or for fear of failure? Those are three pretty easy questions to answer for ourselves. In fact, this website I went to, Anxiety Center, spelled with CENTRE.com, had a little quiz, or lots of quizzes actually you could do. Here's an article by Barbara Markwood that talks about 5 reasons for low self-confidence: genes and temperament. The cultural background, which we talked about. Doesn't matter where you grow up. If you're not in a supported environment, you're going to end up with low self-esteem. Childhood experiences: trauma, bullying, dysfunctional parenting. Well, there you go. That's about 90% of us, right? Gender, race, and sexual orientation all affect our self-confidence, our self-esteem. Changing negative assumptions. We can't trust the feelings, unexamined feelings, is what I would say. He's saying anxiety born of self-doubt can't be trusted. When activated, we have to question how accurate they are. I like this one. Even when they feel authentic, since your feelings emanate mostly from childhood fears. I listened to a thing today about our brains, right? Our parental guidance system is what we want to be listening to, but it gets overridden by the amygdala, by the fight or flight response. So we have to give ourselves the realization that the responding with the fight or flight is not appropriate unless we're in danger. We need to accept it getting worse in the present. That's an interesting one, isn't it? I have to be willing to be with the anxious manifestation, however it manifests for you, before it can be integrated. I have to be willing to feel it. The more you accept your anxiety simply by allowing it, the more quickly it will subside. What you resist persists. So this is Leon Seltzer, PhD. Don't beat yourself up. You're not to blame for having adopted anxiety in the past as a coping mechanism. There's no blame or shame involved in any of this. These are just, what am I doing that no longer serves me? Well, anxiety is a pretty evident one, that something's going on that's not working for me anymore. Chronic anxiety disorder is counterintuitive. This is another doctor, and he says if you try to solve a counterintuitive problem with an intuitive solution, it gets worse. It gets worse. And he uses the analogy of if I'm driving on an icy road and I skid all of a sudden towards a phone pole, If I try steering away from the pole, I'm going to go into it. Whereas if I steer towards the pole, I'm going to go away from it. Now, that's hard for me to visualize because I don't drive on ice, thank God. But for all you Northerners, I know what that means, right? And so, hello, Patricia. Welcome, and thank you for checking in. So, counterintuitive. I love this one. So, he says, let's go back over here. He says, feeling like you can't breathe during a panic attack and desperately trying to suck in a big inhale is counterintuitive. What we should be doing is focusing on the exhale. Because if we focus on the exhale, we're automatically telling our nervous system that we're okay, we're safe, because that's how we engage the parasympathetic. And so if we focus on the exhale and breathe more deeply, exhale more deeply, we will give the body the understanding that we're safe, and all the chemistry of the body will start to adjust. Back here. Oh, that was it. Wow, that was too easy, wasn't it? That was way too short. I'm so used to going on and on and on. So anxiety. I would imagine that there's many, many, many people who are experiencing all sorts of different symptoms from anxiety, and some of them with external causes and some of them with internal, long forgotten causes. But I think the solution is going to be the same. You know, there was a book from the 80s, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. So fear is a name we've given to an energetic response in the body. So if we recognize that it is that as an energetic response, then what we're dealing with is the energy as opposed to the mental fear, the mental what ifs. That's where our solution lies, moving out of the mind and into the body. And we do that beautifully by practicing I Am Yoga Nidra, which we're going to do in a second, but also by being willing to move in the experience of anxiety when I become aware of the fact that I'm feeling anxious, rather than resisting it or pushing it away or trying to numb it or trying to forget about it or trying to do something else. We engage in what the body is communicating to us. We engage with what the body is communicating. And literally, what the body is saying is, I don't feel safe. The inner child doesn't feel safe. And it's not a question of feeding him ice cream. It's a temporary solution. So what do I have to do? I have to be willing to spend time with the sensations, the emotions that my body is communicating to me, and breathe into it until the inner child feels safe. We're always in a relationship with the inner child, whether we're aware of it or not. It's much healthier for us if we're aware of it. And it's much healthier the younger we start, because the less we have to unwind or let go of. But there's never the wrong time to do it. And it's imperative that we do it, because our only source of peace and contentment, really, real peace, real contentment, is internal. The relationship with the power within us. So let's do a Yoga Nidra. And during this Yoga Nidra, all you have to do is lie down, listen, make sure you're comfortable, make sure you're covered, make sure you're not going to be distracted. If you are distracted, acknowledge it and come back to exactly what we're doing. Don't give it energy, don't give it attention more than the momentary acknowledgement. We're going to do a lot of work on we're going to do some practices with the breath. So lying down makes it so much easier to breathe, and there's less resistance. The intention we have is, I do what I can and I let go. I do what I can and I let go. And letting go is as much a disconnecting from the mind and reconnecting to the peace as it is about doing anything. Like letting go energetically is giving your body permission to feel. You're giving yourself permission to feel. Yeah. So let's do a Yoga Nidra. Wow. Close your eyes. Quiet your mind. Be still. Let go of all thoughts, worry, and tension. Give yourself fully to a higher power. Relax. Trust. And let go. Breathe in fully and exhale with a deep sigh. And again, breathe in fully and exhale with a deep sigh, letting go even more. Now bring your intention into your awareness. I do what I can, and I let go. Repeat your intention 3 times. Now follow my guidance as we take 3 deep breaths. Ready? Let's inhale together. Hold the breath in, closing off the throat. And when prompted by the inner urging of the body, release the breath slow and steady. Breathe normally. Second breath now. Inhale together. Hold the breath in, closing off the throat. allowing tension to build, holding a bit longer without struggle. And when prompted, release fully, expelling from the body whatever it no longer needs. Deep-seated tensions, leaving your body with the breath. Now breathe normally. The third breath. Inhale together. Hold the breath in, closing off the throat. Holding even longer now, but without strain. And when prompted, release the breath, breathing it all out, letting it all go until there's nothing left, till you're completely empty. Now breathe normally. Simply allow the breath to rise and fall in its own rhythm. The breath becoming progressively quieter and more still until it is almost impossible to detect. As we enter this next phase of I Am Yoga Nidra, remain as motionless as possible. If you need to move or make an adjustment, do so mindfully. Return to stillness as soon as you are able. Resolve to remain awake, staying in touch with the sound of my voice. Allow any disturbances, external or internal, to draw you more deeply within. Do absolutely nothing from now on. I follow my guidance as we begin the relaxation breath. Breathing in deeply, fill your lungs from the bottom to the top, as if you are filling a water bottle. As you breathe out, empty your lungs from the top to the bottom. Let your breath be slow and steady. Observe the movement of your abdomen and chest. Stay connected to the wonderful feeling of the release of tension and the deep feeling of relaxation. Let this feeling extend to every part of your body. Redirect your full attention to your breath. Create no struggle around breathing. Use the breath to release any tensions. Slowly deepen your inhalations and exhalations. Let the exhalation be longer than the inhalation. Let the flow of your breath be steady and uniform as much as possible. Now breathe normally and be still. Bring your total attention to the pulsating energy field, felt in the form of sensations in your body. Observe how your attention feeds the expansion of the pulsating energy field. Now bring your attention to your eyebrow center. Recognize your deep connection to this original source of life force, the life energy that sustains you and is an extension of your soul. On your next inhalation, draw the breath from the tips of the toes up to the top of the head. As you exhale, draw the breath down from the top of the head to the tips of the toes. Repeat this for a few breaths. This time, as you inhale, draw the breath in from the ankles up to the top of the head, and exhale the breath down from the top of the head to the ankles. Now draw the breath in from the knees up to the top of the head, and exhale the breath down from the top of the head to the knees. Inhale from the perineum at the base of the spine up to the top of the head, and exhale the breath down from the top of the head to the perineum at the base of the spine. Inhale from below the navel up to the top of the head, And exhale the breath down from the top of the head to below the navel. Inhale from the solar plexus up to the top of the head, and exhale the breath down from the top of the head to the solar plexus. Inhale through the heart center and exhale out through the crown of the head. Inhale through the throat and exhale out through the crown of the head. Inhale through the third eye, the point between the eyebrows, and exhale out through the crown of the head. Merge into the subtle upward flow of energy. All separation dissolving in a background of evenly hovering awareness. Surrender the entire weight of the body to gravity. Feel the whole body weighted, sinking. With each breath in, sense a cushion of vital energy surrounding and permeating the body until the entire body is felt as a pulsing, tingling energy field. Energy surrounding every cell of the body equally. The whole body breathing in, the whole body breathing out. Life force growing with each breath in and each breath out. Sensing the shift now into the mental body. Notice the emptiness of the body, the silence of the mind. Thoughts and images moving through without comment or judgment. Entering the subtler dimension of the wisdom body. Remain the neutral observer, receiving what is exactly as it is, unconditioned by the past. Feel yourself freed from limiting tendencies and the unconscious forces of the past. You are now free to create your experience of life, moving from conditioned knowledge to the knowing of the self within. Dissolving into the bliss body. Sense the light of the source illuminating the entire being. The whole being luminous, radiant, shining the light of consciousness. Bring your attention to the center between your eyebrows. Here there remains nothing to do or achieve. You have entered the domain of grace. Hand over all fear, apprehension, and anxiety about all that you want to change, control, and manage. Let go of all doing. Replace it with trust and faith in the higher power. Feel yourself as time transcendent presence right now. Here, your intention and your affirmations are actualized and fulfilled with effortless ease. Bring your intention into your awareness. I do what I can, and I let go. Repeat your intention now 3 times. Allow this intention to go to the deepest levels of recognition with no hesitation. Have faith and trust that it has been heard and is being acted upon by a higher power of the source within you. There's no need for you to do anything about it. All channels are open. The life force is flowing freely, healing the body and calming the mind. Just experience. Allow your entire self to respond spontaneously and effortlessly to what I say. I am the creator of all that I perceive, feel, and experience. I live in a perpetual creative response to what is present. I respond to each moment with calm, clarity, and conviction. Establish yourself firmly in faith and trust to receive the grace, protection, and guidance of the higher self within you. The more often you go to your source, the easier it will be to return there, the longer you can stay there. Feel the presence of your own spiritual guides surrounding you and blessing you. Accept their blessing and grace. Embody it. Spread it wherever you go. You are the emissary of light and love. Carry it everywhere you go and to everyone you meet. If you have an area that you feel needs healing, physical, mental, or emotional, allow this light and love to flow into that area now. Begin to become aware of the rising and falling of the breath. Slowly, feel yourself beginning to rise to the surface of awareness. Sense the body resting on the floor. the quality of the air as it touches the skin. Gradually, you can move as if you were waking from a restful sleep. If you want, bend your knees, pulling them close to the chest, rocking sideways gently to release the low back. But take your time. Do not hurry. And if you want, turning onto your right side and curling into a fetal position. Feel the safety, comfort, and protection of the womb of existence. Bring your intention into your awareness again. I do what I can, and I let go. Change nothing. Every time you find yourself in reaction, you are empowered to replace it with your intention. Regardless of what you consciously recognize that has or has not changed, know that something deep within has shifted to connect you with your intention. Become aware of your body. Bring a deep sense of peace and contentment with you as you bring attention back to the body. Notice how relaxed the body is. How soft the breath is. How silent the mind is. How quiet the heartbeat is. Be still and be grateful. Know that you can easily enter here again and again by remembering this feeling. And this brings us to the end of our meditation. Thank you for joining me. I have a website, liamgillen.com. Check it out. Send me your feedback. I thank each and every one of you for joining me today. Celine and Kevin and Mark and Debbie and Patricia and those who didn't say anything. Have a beautiful week. And feel free to email me with any questions. All right. God bless. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Sandra. Nice to hear from you. Okay, bye-bye.